This is the New American Media. Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles, precisely. Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Brian Engelman, and this is the Unhappy Hour. Yes, not quite so sure that our show is going to be a full hour long. That's the fun of guerrilla radio, I suppose. You do what you want. And, you know, maybe it is more fun. Maybe it is more fun to do longer shows when you have more to be happy about. But this is just a reminder of why we're called the Unhappy Hour in the first place. Real quick, do us a favor, follow us on Twitter. We're at American_media_. Search The New American Media on Facebook and like the page. Share it with your friends. Check out the homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com, and subscribe at youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. But this is a reason, this is a moment where we can just remind you of the reason why we do what we do. I, your humble correspondent, host of the Unhappy Hour. I was raised for about 25 years outside of the Cleveland area. Spent 25 years in Ohio. That's pretty specific. Been a Browns, Indians, Cavs, and Buckeye fan my whole life, and I have yet to celebrate a championship. Okay, the Buckeyes got me one. I mean, technically, that is Columbus. You got to go two and a half hours outside of Cleveland to get to that. Okay, but the Indians, Cavs, and Browns, I mean, it just seems... Mike Polk said it seems statistically more improbable that you can be this consistently bad than you could accidentally, occasionally be good. The odds are staggering. And that's exactly how I feel about it. 1 in 14. 1 in 14 since 1999 in opening games. 1 in 14. Are you freaking kidding me? You could almost try to be as bad as possible and not be 1 in 14. You should accidentally pull out a win from time to time. I digress. Anyhow, that's why we're doing the show today. We got to vent. We don't want to marinate on this game too much longer. Let's get it out. Let's vent. Let's move on. 16 weeks. We can still make the playoffs. I'm the eternal optimist, though. Not that I'm a pessimistic guy, but I do prepare for the worst. But the flip side of that is hoping for the best. And that's usually how I roll. With the Browns, I mean, I don't know, it's never over. I just got so used to never losing in high school. Didn't lose in the preseason games. Didn't lose in the regular season games. 2 losses in 2 years, both in the playoffs. That's what is my norm, not 1 in 14. It's garbage. Anyway, let's bring in Brandon Odell. Brandon's a regular correspondent, guest / co-host for the Strictly Browns segments here on the Unhappy Hour. And, yeah, let's just get this over with and start looking forward. But, man, I've got a lot to vent about. Game was disappointing. Nothing new. 1 in 14, you know?
Hello?
Brandon, you're live on the air. Welcome to a show that I call the Unhappy Hour. It seems kind of fitting today. You sent not a tweet, but a text earlier. Care to paraphrase what you said for the listeners?
Basically, just it's been a while since I felt so crummy on a Monday morning, and I kind of forgot what it was like.
Yeah, you did a good job cleaning that text up, by the way. Yeah, I the eternal optimist when it comes to the Browns. Very excited for the season to start. Saw some improvements in the preseason, and then wow. I want to start with the offensive line, Brandon, because that was. I'm floored. Like 2x4 to the face. I didn't see it coming. I didn't know we were going to be that bad on the offensive line. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Well, before we do anything else, one way or the other, before we hang up for today, I am going to give an official prediction, an adjusted prediction about how many wins I think they're going to get this year, because we never really did that. And you, with your sellout prediction that you make every year, are going to be forced to give a realistic
Whoa,
prediction.
no. Hold on. What is the sellout position? Are you saying I'm taking the easy way out? A coward's way out?
I'm saying every single year you take the easy way out by just going with your little hokey, they're going to go 16-0 type of thing. So each of us is going to have to make an adjusted, realistic prediction. And for you, it cannot be 15-1. So,
okay. What I saw out of that offensive line, maybe 3 wins. If they can figure out what the heck was wrong, or if Miami is just that damn good, still 9-7.
You're being pretty generous with, like you said, what we saw out of that offensive line.
Oh my Lord!
Cameron Wake is a premier pass rusher. He's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. There is absolutely no doubt about it. And he has, for several years, languished is the wrong word because he has still done very, very well, but he has remained largely unknown to the larger populace just because of the fact that he's played on a team that has been, mediocre over the last few years. But, you put Cameron Wake in the middle of, a Green Bay Packers pass rush or a San Francisco 49ers pass rush or something like that, and people are going to be saying his name a lot more. Now, with that said, I think that especially we saw the glaring weakness that is our right guard position. O'Neal Cousins has always been a backup at best, and having to put him in there versus that starting line of Miami, you just saw him being grossly overmatched on virtually every play, having to hold for his dear life.
How long are we stuck with O'Neal Cousins? Let's get back to that. Is this going to be all year, or are we going to get some relief sometime?
Well, we're stuck with him for at least a couple more weeks until you get Sean Laveau back in there. But let's face it, Sean Laveau isn't going to make anyone think of I'm trying to think of who would be an all-time great guard. It's even hard to think of. Sean Laveau isn't going to make anyone think of Tony or Anthony Munoz anytime soon, even though Anthony Munoz is the tackle. But either way, the point being is that that right side of the line definitely was exposed. Mitchell Schwartz is a player that a lot of people believe is going to be a solid player, but even he certainly looked very overmatched out there. I don't think that they gave the right side enough help. I think that there could have been some better blocking. There was one time where they showed the replay of Chris Ogbanaya having to take on Cameron Wake one-on-one, and Cameron Wake literally pushed Ogbanaya all the way into Whedon, at which point he let go of Ogbanaya and grabbed Whedon for a sack. I mean, just absolutely destroyed the line all day, and 2.5 sacks, plus a number of pressures were evident, were the evidence of that. So the line just simply didn't get it done. They didn't open enough holes for Trent Richardson, and because Trent Richardson, after that first drive, wasn't finding the holes that he had, they basically abandoned the run game too soon, as they so often do. And pretty much it was the same old for the rest of the game, which was Whedon just throwing bad passes, throwing tip passes, throwing interceptions. It was a bad game for the offense all the way around.
Yeah, and luckily we can't say it was a bad game all around for the entire team, because there were a couple of bright spots. But one of the names I would have been guessing, flipping a coin on whether he was a guard or not. I actually just did a search and pulled it up. I got Larry Allen, Pro Bowl guard with the Cowboys. And the fact that we both aren't quite certain, all right, that just, yeah, it's a position you don't think, it's not sexy like the quarterback, Brandon. It's not the Joe Montana or the Brett Favre or the, Colin Kaepernick or something, but it's a very important position, apparently, because we have what we thought was a pretty solid line with Joe Thomas, with Alex Mack, both Pro Bowlers, Mitchell Schwartz coming into his own. I didn't see that the line was just going to be this miserable. But once again, is it because the Miami Dolphins defense is that good, or is it because we're this bad? And I'm really not certain how to think about that moving forward. But let's flip it around for a second, because a bright side, the defense of the Cleveland Browns did not allow the Dolphins to do much of anything at all day either.
Well, except for the fact that once we got down to the end of the ball game, let's face it, Ryan Tannehill was able to make the throws that he needed to make. He was, I think, 75% or something like that on his third down plays, and that's absolutely unacceptable. Buster Screen had his obligatory pass interference penalty. I mean, just there were a number of things in the defense. I mean, the pass rush was pretty decent, but obviously it wasn't good enough if we allowed the Miami Dolphins to put 23 points on the board.
No, that you are absolutely right. We're still missing Barkevious Mingo. Maybe he'll come back for this game. We'll see what happens. But I mean, you got to just look at the bottom line to see that the Browns rushed 13 times for 47 yards is pathetic. And when you're crawling and scraping and you're up 7-6 at the half, you said, "Hey, we're lucky to be up." I'm like, "No, they're lucky that it's this close." You know, because I mean, at that time, it looked like the Browns had made every mistake possible and were getting ready to put a whooping on them. Maybe not. I was looking at it from glass half full. You were seeing it maybe a little bit more clearly than I was. But the Browns defense did hold Miami to 23 rushing attempts in only 20 yards. That's less than a yard per carry. And that's something. Without Barkevious Mingo, that's something. And we did completely neutralize Mike Wallace out there. It shows that after Joe Hayden, there's nothing. We have a good line. We have Joe Hayden, and then there's nothing else. All of those role players just tore us up, whether we eliminated their number one threat, and we did. Mike Wallace, not happy after the game. We talk about Joe Hayden and Mike Wallace for a sec.
I mean, I guess you consider that a scratch, that the two of them played each other head up, but let's face it, Mike Wallace isn't their number one. Brian Hartline is, and Brian Hartline got whatever he wanted all day, and so did their number 3, Brandon Gibson. And in fact, Brandon Gibson dropped a couple of key passes, or else he would have had 100 yards receiving as well. So I mean, it's just the fact of the matter is, it's just the Browns defense. Say what you will about them doing what they have done so many times before, which is playing as hard as they could and trying to hang in there. But the fact of the matter is that the offense gave them zero support. Too many times the offense put them in bad situations, 3-and-outs or interceptions or whatever it was. The defense can't keep going through this game after game, year after year, and expecting to hopefully keep it close. I mean, harkens back to last season's home opener, where the defense played so well, had so many turnovers. And we lost that game 17-16, because in the end the defense just simply couldn't just ran out of gas and couldn't seem to make that big play when it counted most. And there were definitely some times yesterday where you saw the defense just not able to make that big play when they needed it. So I mean, say what you will about bright spots, but the fact of the matter is that the Browns just flat laid an egg yesterday. If there is one bright spot, the bright spot is the fact that they're still in first place in the
absolutely.
AFC North.
And that's going to be the title of this episode, by the way. Everybody lost. Talk about the division for a second. What do you see trending in the division? By the way, you never gave me the win-loss record tally. I said what? What'd I say, 3 or 4? I'm forgetting already. Maybe 3 or 4 wins if we play.
You said 3 wins based upon what you saw yesterday.
Yeah, but if they get their act together and we get a little healthier, and I could see us 9-7. I could see us 10-6. I could, but if we play like that, 3 wins is generous. They looked horrible. What's your tally?
Brandon Weeden is the big X factor. I mean, we got absolutely nothing out of him yesterday, and what we saw was that when you turn up the heat on Brandon Weeden, he's basically a garbage quarterback. And, we have, until we get our quarterback situation figured out, and I don't know if we ever have we just haven't. We have not even gotten our quarterback situation figured out at all since the Browns come back in 1999. Until we get lucky enough to finally hit on that draft pick of the quarterback, or to be able to bring in a free agent who can come in and consistently play at a if not a Pro Bowl level, at least a high level, you're going to be talking about a team that's going to win 4 or 5 games. So Brandon Weeden is the big X factor here. He looked horrible yesterday. He just did. And yeah, you could say he was running for his life most of the game.
I don't even know that he had a chance to run. It was, like you said, that with Ogbenaya getting just manhandled, he got the ball and he was just getting smashed. And I couldn't see anyone. I couldn't see Peyton Manning performing in a situation like that. I just couldn't see it. But that line gave him no opportunity for success. And I sent something out on Twitter just saying, vent about the Browns' loss to the Dolphins. And Mary O'Connor just sent something in and said, she's not sold on Weeden by a long shot. Not impressed. Anyone else? And that's pretty much echoing exactly what you're talking about this second. I don't know that I could blame Weeden for that, though. He's missing Josh Gordon. His line has given him nothing. And he had a nice touchdown pass to Jordan Cameron. He put a couple yards. I don't know. He had a couple of yards. He obviously made some mistakes that killed us, but he threw for 289 and a touchdown. Yes, the 3 picks.
Let's face it. Anytime you think of Browns quarterback throwing high yards, look at how many yards they get in the fourth quarter after the game is already out of reach. And I bet you would have about at least 100 yards of what Weeden had. He had when the team was down by 10 points already. So, I don't even think that that's necessarily a good excuse as well. Weeden just looked awful. That's all there is to it. And trying to compare him to how Peyton Manning would be able to respond, the fact of the matter is that a true top flight quarterback is still going to make occasional mistakes, but at the same time too, a true top flight quarterback is going to be able to say, okay, I've got to get the ball out fast, and I'm going to get it to the right guy. And the fact of the matter is that 50% of the time at least, he didn't get it to anywhere near the right guy that he was supposed to throw to. And just he looks rushed, he looks scared, and he just he just doesn't look good. That's all there is to it. He just simply does not look good.
I know. I'm an eternal quarterback apologist. I said good things about Colt McCoy. I give him a little bit more of a chance, give him a weapon or two. I don't really see anyone that could have really had much success back there. But let's bounce back to this. The AFC North. All right, so we're having to readjust our preseason expectations of the Browns based on the egg that they laid. Talk about the rest of the division, because the Browns currently lead the AFC North. What are we looking at? What are we leading? And what are the trajectories of the other teams in that league? Our league.
Well, let's face it, Brian. Every single other team in our division is going to be coming at us as hard, if not harder, than the Bengals, than the Dolphins did. And so if we can't handle what the Dolphins are giving to us, we're not going to handle what the Ravens are dishing out on Sunday, and we're not going to deal with what the Steelers dish out later on in the season, and we're certainly not going to deal with what Geno Atkins in the middle of that line of the Cincinnati Bengals is dishing out. So frankly, we're in big trouble. That's all there is to it, and all of that optimism and everything that comes with seeing yet another solid Browns preseason against what you would consider to be those vanilla defenses, those defenses that just basically allow you to get what you want and just try not to keep their guys from getting hurt. You saw it time and time again where you have some of these Browns quarterbacks, like Jake Delhomme, for instance, comes to mind, or Colt McCoy, look really good in the preseason. And then once it comes to actual showtime in the real games, they just get absolutely overwhelmed. They get clobbered, and they lose their composure in a hurry, and the team falls as a result.
No,
So,
I'll give you that. I do see your point, and it's definitely making its impact on me. I totally get that. However, Delhomme did look good in the preseason, and he got injured so quick into the season. I never really got to see what he had, but once again, the pressure got to him, and he got injured. So that kind of proves your point, but also gives me a reason to make an excuse for him. But no, I get it. This is a very tough division. All the teams, the Bengals, the Ravens, and the Steelers, did not really put their best feet forward rather, and they're all winless as well. And you look at the division, and I mean, who is the team in the division that you see regressing the most? I mean, is it the Super Bowl champion Ravens? Is it the injuries that the Steelers just had and where they're headed? Because I don't know. I looked at what Cincinnati did. I think they might be the toughest one out of the four after what I saw yesterday.
I agree. Cincinnati's probably the toughest team, and I would probably have to say that the Steelers have the most work to do right now. I think Baltimore is going to come out pretty fired up against us on Sunday after they really allowed themselves to be embarrassed. You know, Cincinnati played a tough game against a team that is, barely missed the playoffs last year as well.
Pardon the pun.
The Bears are a good team. Not a great team, but a good team. And the Bengals are probably a good team, not quite a great team yet. But they have a chance to make that jump. Either way, the point is that certainly the Steelers out of those three teams are the team that have the biggest chance to regress. But come Sunday, when the Baltimore Ravens receive their Super Bowl rings, and you had better believe that after they got embarrassed last Thursday by the Denver Broncos, and knowing that they are the defending Super Bowl champions and now playing their first game at home, we're going to be in for it on next Sunday. A heck of a lot more than we were this weekend, that's for sure.
Well, you know, when you have Trent Richardson on the team and you only give him the ball 13 times, I don't. Remember, this is a 3-0 game at the end of the first. It's a 7-6 game at the end of the half. Browns lead. It's a 13-10 game at the end of the third. Why in the hell, when we're within striking distance, why when we're leading, are we not running the ball? It just doesn't make sense to me why they weren't doing that. I understand the line wasn't performed, but you got to do that. And if we're gonna only give Trent Richardson, our number one pick from 2 years ago, if we're only gonna give him 13 touches, I don't see us winning another game the rest of this season. Because I don't know. You got to go 50-50 when you have somebody that good. And I don't know. I get what you're saying with the Ravens, that they get ready for a whooping Browns. But, you know, I'm never ready to roll over. I'm never ready to admit defeat. I'm never ready to, you know, you're more realistic. And I get that. And I appreciate and respect that. But I'm the wacky guy that never lost a regular season game in high school, you know, in junior and senior year. So, like, I'm used to winning. Even when you're outmatched, even when you're physically dominated by an opponent, when your guy's a foot taller than you. I've had this happen. And you still find a way to win. So I just never never tolerate excuses out of the front office, out of the coaching staff, out of the players, and I just always expect that light switch is going to turn on and that they're going to get their act together. Because I'm fed up. I am fed up. Yeah, it has been a long time since I forgot how miserable it feels on a Sunday afternoon / Monday morning / whole rest of the week. And that's why the show's called The Unhappy Hour, because we have so many miserable memories of it. But let me ask you about the Ravens. Are we ready to make a prediction and a preview, or we want to do that later? What are you thinking?
We'll make it right now, because honestly, I think I need to just take a few days of quiet reflection from the Browns.
Fair enough.
I think I need to take a step back until Sunday at least, and just allow myself to regroup mentally, because I was just really crestfallen by the time that game was over. And you smile and you put on a happy face.
Crushed.
But, I didn't eat well yesterday. Normally every single night I like to have, a couple cookies or a little dessert or something like that just at the end of the evening. Didn't want anything, barely ate any supper. I just felt like crap. And, I need to take a step back from the Browns a little bit to be able to get my mind right before I start thinking about doing 2 or 3 of these a week. That's for sure. So if you want to talk about scores, I think we need to do that right now. And based upon what I saw, you have in the Baltimore Ravens a quarterback who is a better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill and Joe Flacco, obviously. But at the same time, too, you have probably fewer weapons at receiver, although Baltimore does have a far superior running game with Ray Rice. So from that respect, I probably would be, the final score of this game is probably pretty close to being what it's going to be on Sunday. I would say probably about 24-10. Until the Browns prove that they actually have an offense, I'm going to stop kidding myself and pretending that they do.
And it's still going to hurt that Josh Gordon isn't going to be there, but based on what I saw with the run defense of the Browns, knowing that I could almost literally see the Browns tripling the workload of Trent Richardson. 13 carries, how about 26? How about 35? Go for it. It's going to be a smash-mouth game, and I think it could be close. I think the Browns could pull it off, and I got the Browns winning 20-17 against all odds, Brandon. Against all odds and common sense. Who knows? Maybe we'll even get to have a cookie or a dessert at the end of next Sunday. I don't know. But you're absolutely right. What were you saying?
I was just going to say, you know what? That would be excellent if they do win. But I pick them to win and they lose. So, I'm definitely getting pretty close to the bridge today, Brian, and I'm looking over the edge. So, like I said, I need a few days of introspection before I'm ready to truly take that step back.
Okay, so for everybody listening, you're metaphorically talking about your support and love for the Cleveland Browns, not legitimately talking about thinking of harming yourself, correct, Brandon?
Yes, I'm not legitimately thinking about harming myself. I do love my family and love my young daughter.
Just not the Browns. Not right now.
But I guess what I need to consider is how much energy I invest in a team that you invest so much in, and yet you get so little back from. So I think that's where I'm at right now. So you know what? Until they prove me wrong, I'm just going to pick them to lose.
Hey, well, you know what? If you said you pick them to win and they lose, maybe you need to pick them to lose so that they'll win. And I do have to ask that question every time I joke with my buddies. For the listeners, I have a psychology degree and I did volunteer at a crisis center. And you're told anytime someone makes a joke like that, you stop and you pause and you go back to it. And Brandon and I are friends, and I wasn't really suggesting that he may be literally close to the edge, but it's a little thing that I do. But I hear what you're saying. The Indians are close. They dropped a close one yesterday. At least investing in that team, they're in the hunt. They're competitive. Are they dominant? No. Are they the cream of the crop in the MLB? No. But they're there. They're in the hunt. It's kind of fun. They're close. They're competitive. They're scrappy. This Browns team with one game, I don't know what the hell they are. I don't know what pleasure I'm going to derive from spending a lot of time on them either. So, Buckeyes come up. Buckeyes are playing next week. Maybe Braxton Miller will be in there. Kenny Guyton did a good job. I don't know if you had any parting shots as we wrap this one up here in overtime. If any comments on the Indians or the Buckeyes, because those can at least make us smile. Can we end on a smile with a cookie at the end of the day? Something.
Well, the Indians. We'll see what happens. They're still in it. They can get a few guys like Nick Swisher and Struble Cabrera to, as Nick Swisher's started to come out of it a little bit, we can get a Struble to do something as well. We've got a shot. But, the Indians had their shots in August against the Detroit Tigers and more recently against Baltimore and a few other teams on that most recent road trip, which, they just didn't, when they've had their big chances to really gain ground, they haven't been able to do it. So, the Indians, if they somehow manage to squeak into that one-game playoff, that would be wonderful. But, I'm not expecting them to make it all the way to the series. That's for sure. They just have too many glaring holes on offensively and in their maybe not so much in their starting rotation, but certainly in their bullpen right now. And as far as Ohio State goes, they're always fun to watch. Especially you can always count on them winning a lot of games against marshmallow opponents early in the year,
That's
which
true.
is what they've been doing so far. And they'll face another pretty much mostly a marshmallow opponent in Cal this coming Saturday. Hopefully Braxton Miller's ready to be back out there, but if not, you feel pretty good about Kenny Guyton as a backup. So, basically, until the Buckeyes play a ranked opponent, you don't really get too fired up for it the way that you do in the NFL, being that every team you play, it's an NFL caliber team, even though the Browns, sometimes you wonder a little bit about them. But, college and pro is definitely a different animal. If you were rooting for an SEC team, they're playing tough teams, it seems like, just about every week. The Ohio State Buckeyes, put a lot of fluff in their schedule, and unfortunately, due to the weakness of the Big Ten, it's not even necessarily their doing all that much.
Well, you're right on a lot of those points, and like I said, are the Indians the cream of the crop in Major League Baseball? Okay, no, maybe not so much, maybe not so much. However, for me, it's if you can just get your ping pong ball into that lottery, you never know who's going to get hot at the right time. You never know when another team's ace is going to have a couple bad outings or someone gets injured and opens the door and you just get hot. We saw the Indians, they were damn near unbeatable for a couple weeks of this season already. If they can just make it into the playoffs and get that hot again, I know they're capable of it. They did it once. They might be able to do it again. So, I'm really of course you are as well, but I'm really hoping they can find a way to get hot enough and get a little bit of enough help to squeak their way in. And yeah, you're right. The Buckeyes playing some marshmallows right now, some tomato cans. They're knocking around. And it's definitely not good watching Braxton go down with his injury. Definitely concerned about that. But really, Kenny Guyton stepping in, that guy's a player. That guy's pretty solid. I'm not going to say he's better than Braxton Miller, but you're not stepping down too far. You're not really scraping the bottom of the barrel for leftovers. The guy's pretty solid. He really has a good command of that offense. So, once again, Buckeyes ranked in the top 3. You just got to keep playing, keep winning, and if you get a chance in the national championship, Urban's pretty good in those. I'll give him a shot. So, I just wanted to end the program on a happy note, Brandon, because that Browns game really left a sour taste in my mouth as well. So, I like this new format. Maybe do this on Mondays so we don't have to marinate and stew on the misery all week and still have to get back to this. I just want to get it over with, get it on, and after a win, if we're super excited, we'll talk. We'll be excited and look forward to the next game. But I like the Monday format. Maybe we'll keep doing this, B.
All right, well, that sounds good. Hopefully we'll see the Brownies turn it around a little bit. But like I said, until I see it on the field consistently, I just have a hard time buying what that team is selling right now. And I was buying it, and I was drinking the Kool-Aid and everything else that you can say based on what I saw in the preseason. But after what I saw yesterday, I have a dramatic change of heart until I see otherwise.
No, I think it's funny because you mentioned that the Browns are still in first in the AFC North, and I said, yeah, that's gonna be the title of this program. Another title from 2 weeks ago on the other program, Agree to Disagree. We said we're not buying the war that they're selling in Syria. We're just not buying it. It doesn't add up. Doesn't make sense. It's not worth me sending my family and friends over there for what. We're not buying it, and that's what we said on that show. And you just said it. You're not buying the Browns yet because you're just getting tired of getting let down, and it's not making sense, and they're not really consistent, and you're kind of losing some faith in them, and you should because it doesn't make sense to invest a whole ton of energy into a team that sucks that bad. But, I'm having a hard time to believe with all of the upgrades that they made that this is going to be a consistent theme this year. I'm hoping it's more of a blip. We'll see. We got 16 games to prove it. And, I look forward to bringing you back, whether it's for you and I to vent on the, just like at any bar. You belly up to the bar and you vent your complaints to the bartender sometimes. And sometimes you cheers and hey, shots around. Let's do a quick round of shots and you celebrate. But either way, I love talking sports and I love having you on the program, Brandon. So thanks for joining us again today.
All right. Well, that sounds good, and be well.
Go Browns. Take care, buddy.
Go. All right. Bye.
All right, Brandon Odell, everyone. Yes, he's metaphorically looking over the edge of the bridge. No, but really, I volunteered at a 24-hour crisis center, and when people would talk about hurting themselves, you had to just step back and say, you did mention that. Was that just, are you legitimately thinking about hurting yourself? And of course, I don't believe that that's where Brandon's at. But really, it's crushing. It is crushing. I've been so excited for this Cleveland Browns season since the last one. I've been so excited for football my entire life, and I deserve better than this crap. All right, fine. Let the haters say you don't deserve anything. Or make fun of Cleveland and Burning River or something. All right, awesome. Mistake by the lake. Cool. I've never heard that before. If it's brown, flesh it down. You're so funny. But I really do believe that we deserve better than this. That's why I do this show. I don't know. Am I jinxing it by doing the show? No. I've only been doing the Unhappy Hour for 2.5 years, and yes, we have not won a championship, Indians, Cavs, or Browns, in 2.5 years. But we didn't win the rest of my life, the previous decades I've been in existence on this earth. My fantasy football name in one team is Planet Arf. Long story. But, yeah, we just deserve better than this. This is garbage. And I'm willing to consider this as a blip and a learning experience for the coaching staff. I mean, you got Norv Turner, you have Rob Chudzinski, Ray Horton. I don't know. These coaches have got some skill. I think they're going to put it together. The Ravens didn't look dominant by any stretch of the imagination, so I'm never going to walk against an opponent and think, oh, we can't win this. Never. I think I can win everything always. Is that just me? It cannot just be me that thinks I could win everything always. Because if you don't have that mentality, you will always lose always. I mean, there's a realistic part of me that understands there are some things that cannot change. Some battles you just simply will not win. Now, in real life, I do recognize there are plenty of things where I should not. It's better to walk away than to battle some things. I'm learning this. But when you've been taught your whole life, don't give up, work harder, figure it out. That's actually been an interesting lesson for me out in Los Angeles. Different components, different facets of life. Not just personal, not just professional, not just spiritual, not just, whatever. Come on, you have a life. Think about it. The different things going on in your world. But I guess I'm just not a quitter. And I'm not saying Brandon's quitting on his team. I'm talking about me, just me. I'm not going to quit on the Browns. That's why I'm doing this show. I'm just showing to myself, I have endurance. I have a passion and a love for this. So why would I quit? And I get Brandon's point. Why should you invest a bunch of time in something that makes you miserable? Trust me, I get that too. I really get that. But I can't ever recall going into a football game in high school. And I've said this before. I was a second-string defensive end on an undefeated team that played in the state championship my junior year. So I was very fortunate. We were crushing teams by third quarter, and I got a lot of playing time against the other team's starters third quarter and fourth quarter. And we rarely gave up points as the second stringers. Rarely. Hated giving up points. Ever. I hated when I came out as a senior and the second stringers would give up points. I'd grab the other players. What are you doing? What happened out there? How do you fix it? I don't know. It's just a quest for personal perfection, and maybe there is no such thing, but it's a quest for personal best. What is the best I'm available to do? But I can't remember ever going up against a team. I'm thinking now. Who do we have? Toledo St. John, Toledo St. Francis, Cincinnati Coleraine, and then St. Ignatius junior year, and then Massillon, then Canton McKinley senior year. I'm talking about the playoff games. Playoffs? Talking about playoffs? Kidding me? I just hope we can win a game. But I don't recall ever going into any of these games thinking, oh man, we're gonna get crushed today. Why would you ever think that? Ever. So Browns fans, don't give up. Come on, it's 1 of 16. 1 of 16. I'm not saying go out and put $100 on the team. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not a gambling man, but if I were, I might avoid this one. But I'm saying I can't ever recall walking into a battle thinking, oh, man, I'm going to get crushed. I always thought, here we go. I'm going to rock these guys. And that's the way you got to think. That's part of... I think what sums it up is another psychological term, a self-fulfilling prophecy. I said this to a friend yesterday about a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, if you think something's not going to be good, then guess what? It's probably not going to be good. If you think you're not going to win, well, guess what? You're probably not going to win. And I really think there's something to the fact that Cleveland sports fans have been accustomed to this. We've been beaten down, indoctrinated. What the heck word was I looking for? Indoctrinated or whatever, ized. I think I just invented a word there. Anyhow, I really think with the drive, the fumble, the shot, the decision, the ninth inning blown save, go down the list. I really do think that Cleveland fans have kind of allowed a negative type of thinking to creep into places it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be in the heart. It shouldn't be in the mind. It shouldn't be in your skin and your blood and your bones. It shouldn't be a part of you. But when it's always, they always find a way to screw this up. Oh, watch them blow it this time. Oh, they never win. They always stink. I'm telling you, I grew up around a lot of people hearing a lot of that stuff. And frankly, was my first year I played football was 8th grade. When I said we went undefeated, that's kind of a big deal because when we played my first year, my first experience playing football was how many games did we play? 8? We were 1-7, I believe. Man, I wonder if I have all that stuff sitting around somewhere to dig it out. But 1-7. We won the last game in a mud bowl, like in the last quarter. Came from behind and scored a touchdown to win. But we battled all season, and we finally got that win, and it was like, oh, I like that. I want more of those. You know, when my junior year came and went, and I had been a backup player. I was a starter on kickoff and kick return. Yeah, kickoff and kick return. And second string defensive end. I got a lot of regular season playing time because we were crushing teams, which was great. Good experience for my senior year. But I just always looked for ways to get better because nobody expected our team my senior year to do much of anything. The year before, tons of starters, seniors, on offense, on defense, great players. They were gone, graduated, gone. Who were they left with? All these second-string scrubs, undersized kids, scrappy little, man, I wonder what's going to happen this year. Let's just face it, not a lot of people expected a lot of things out of us, but I always did. I know a lot of my teammates did. Whether we were faking it to make it, perception is reality, whatever you want to call it, I always expected excellence. I always expected exceeding expectations. Frankly, I could give a damn about what anyone else expects out of me because I know what I expect out of myself. And we put it together. We had an undefeated season. That's a big deal to me. You know, that's a reminder that no matter how undersized you are, no matter how much the deck is stacked against you, no matter what the expectations are, none of that crap matters. What matters is what you're going to do with your time. And what I do with my time, I worked really hard. I worked really hard to get as good as I could and leave my best out on the table. And I did. I left my best out there. And what do I do with my time now? I do a show called The Unhappy Hour. And I appreciate that you listen to it. I do. So the way we continue this is tell some friends, other Cleveland Indians, Cavs, Browns, and Buckeye fans. Tell them. Invite them over. Specifically, send them a message. Invite them. Follow us on Twitter at American_media_. Search The New American Media on Facebook and like the page. And comment and share it with your friends. Join the back and forth discussion. It can be fun. go to our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. Where are we at now? 114-something thousand video views. It's a slow burn. It's a slow burn. You know, maybe you don't come out of the gate rocking and rolling, but once you start climbing, I'm mixing like 4 different metaphors here, but it's a slow burn. You know, the smoke is simmering. You know, the magnifying glass has caught the leaf, and it's going a little bit. You know, now you can hear a couple of twigs crackling. It's not a raging inferno, but it's there. You have fire. It's good. It's going. You know, so if you like what we're doing, check it out. And hey, you know what? If you're feeling what's a better word for what I almost just said? If you're feeling all right, ballsy. I can't think of another way. Can't think of another way to say it. If you're feeling ballsy and you want to do what we do, which is not just talk about sports. Oh man, I think I have another radio show coming up in about 59 minutes. Hey, check that one out as well. Occasionally I co-host with Blake the Eccentric Wally over on freedomizerradio.com from noon to 1:30 p.m. Pacific. He's on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I'll be on today. I like this. Double duty day. Pretty fun. But yeah, if you're feeling up to it, check out what we're doing with our politics and our spirituality and all the other things. The show's called Agree to Disagree because, face it, you know what? I know Browns fans that are not Cavs fans. I know Ohio State fans that are not Browns fans. I mean, you know, you get what I'm getting at. I don't need to think of every mathematical algorithm where a Pittsburgh Pirate fan can also be a Browns fan, but he doesn't like... You get what I'm getting at. But the show's called Agree to Disagree. We cover some pretty ridiculous stuff. And we're covering it because we don't understand why the rest of the media, the old American media, the dinosaur media, as I'm calling it, why they're not covering these stories, why they're not putting these connections together, why they're not connecting 2 and 2. I mean, hell, I'm the founder of this website. I just launched it 2.5 years ago because I didn't like... It's a lot like football. You know, I used to go to the games and watch it on Friday nights. I'm like, wow, I'd love to play on that field one day. I can't wait till I'm on the field. It was always, I can't wait till I'm on the field. I'm just like, I'm going to get there. Some people, well, I don't know. I don't know if I could ever do it. No, I'm getting there. And I never liked being the participant. I never liked sitting on the sidelines. I liked being on the field, put the lights on, get the eyes on. You know, everyone watching, home and away. You want that away crowd silent or booing. You want your crowd going ravenous, having fun. Put the lights on. Let's go. I want to play the game. What did Jack Nicholson say? I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me. I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me. Love that. Love that line. That's living the dream. That's creating your own reality. That's taking charge of your own situation. You know, so we do a show called Agree to Disagree, and we can agree to disagree. We can keep it mostly civil. You can call me a crazy tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist, lunatic, nut, job, any phrase you want within reason. You know, I get it. You know, we don't need to go ridiculously personal here, but I get it. I mean, hell, I look at the left wing and the neocons, and I say the same stuff about you guys. I don't get how you haven't woken up yet and realize it's just a puppet show. Controlled by the same interests that give you the same garbage. And is your life getting really better? Is it getting much better right now? Are groceries less expensive? Are you making more money at your job? Do you have a happier personal life? Do you feel content? Are you stressed? Think about it. I don't know too many people that are living their dreams right now. A lot of people struggling to get by. And so I just want to engage in these conversations. So I'm inviting you to join me on Agree to Disagree as well. So I'm going to sign off for now. Go Browns. I'm picking them 20-17 over the Ravens. Brandon picked the Ravens 24-10, but let's focus on the 20-17. I don't know if it's going to make a difference, but they're in our division. They always beat us. That's our old team. They've won 2 Super Bowls. I don't care. Go punch them in the teeth. Run over them. Push. Defeat them. Battle them. Outsmart them. Outthink them. Outplay them. Do it. Turn it around, game 2. Why not? Till next week. I appreciate each and every one of you taking time to check us out here at thenewamericanmedia.com.
You are listening to The New American Media.